Good morning, and I'm back at it. First I'm doing is checking the offset of what the pulley was on the TRW alternator from the mounting flange on the alternator, and that's 2 3/16. Now we're going to see what the offset is when I put that pulley on the Delco alternator. Now, I by no means consider myself any kind of a great machinist of any sort, but I get the job done what I need to do. Well, I'm thinking that should do it. Now, according to my calculations, to get the 2 3/16, the original was, I have to take a 1/4 inch here. Now I have two ways of doing it. Either trim a 1/4 inch off this alternator, which would be the quick and easy way, but I think instead I'm going to take the bracket off the engine and modify that, because you'll see why I think that's the better way, because I should do some welding on that bracket anyway. Now here's the bracket. As you can see, it's been repaired before, and by my calculations the exact thickness of this is how much it has to be moved over. So I'm going to cut a piece of this out and make a new piece with a 9/16 inch hole to weld on the outside, and that should move it over the right amount. Another reason I wanted to take it off is this tightener. Isn't that something? Because in '65 this truck, I'm certain, would have come with a generator, and it was converted to that alternator, and this was probably the arm for tightening the generator, but even that, you can see, has been lengthened at one time. And by the physics, or whatever you want to call it, leverage, the alternator being in here, trying to keep that tensioned up, relying on the tension of that one bolt there, is a lot to ask of. So my intention is also to weld this pivot tight so that you have much better control at keeping the belt tight. So I got to get at it. So this is how I'm holding my, I just happened to find a strap with a 9/16 inch hole in with a nice rounded end that I cut off. And this is how I'm holding it in place to weld it. So I'm going to get it welded on. First I'm going to tack it on and check all the fitment. Well, the belt alignment looks good, so now it's time to finish the welding. Well, here it is. Repair, modification originally for an alternator, another modification for another alternator, Welded this so it couldn't pivot to keep the belt tight, and this arm was also modified at one time. So we have modifications on top of repairs. It may not be the prettiest, but at this point it's all about getting the white running so I can go to Burnett to get the TD9 home, so I can pull a 60 out of the barn, so I can put in the push rods and rocker arms because the ceiling is too low to put the push rods in, and then to get it loaded and get it up to Baraboo for the show this weekend. One thing just relies on another, which relies on another, which relies on another to make this all come together. There it is. Now for the moment of truth. We show 12 volts. Let's see if there's enough in it to start it. Let's see. Well, it's up to a little, immediately after starting it was at 12 and a half, now it's up to 13 and a half. So it's charging. Here's one of the last, here's another one of the big moments before the side covers go on. I have my remote oil pump hooked up to the oil galley, and I'm going to put pressure in it to pressurize the system, to flush the air out, and then we'll see if oil comes out at the bearings. So let's give it a whirl. So there we have oil coming out at the bearings. That's a real good sign. So now it's time to put the side covers on, and then it can be pulled outside. Well, look at that. Side covers going on. And we'll go around to the other side. We got one to go. But I got to put the screen, the oil sump screen in first. So we'll go get that. See the big hole there? That's where the oil sump screen goes. So now we're going to put that in. And now the last side cover can go on. I have to clean the last few things off the tracks. Then I'm going to bring the TD9 around to hook it up to pull it outside. So I got to go plug my phone in now so it charges now so I can get video of pulling it out. This time I double checked the camera to make sure I didn't have you sideways, because this is only going to happen once. So, big moment. Let's see if she's going to move. I better double that chain up with a jerk so you can see the stretch. I'm going to have to hook the one side. It does turn, but it's wanting to slide, so I got to get it to go sideways some. I'm thinking that right track will roll once it gets off the concrete. You know, it slides on that concrete pretty easy. time I didn't swing the drawbar quite as much. I think I'm going to quit for the day because I'll show you. I was keeping an eye on this. We at like 10 inches where it has to come off the concrete, and I was concerned about that. I'm going to get a railroad tie for under each side, something good and solid for it to roll on, because I'll go inside and look and tell you what I was concerned about. If it would tip going out the door, I'm certain the front end would jump up and hit the ceiling. And after all the work I put into that manifold, I sure as heck don't want to take any chance with that. And I think this whole body has done as much as it can do today. If I overdo it too hard, I won't be able to do anything tomorrow. So, sorry we didn't get all the way outside this evening, but it'll happen tomorrow. Better to be careful and slow than to damage something. I just had to walk out here and look again. That's a pretty nice sight. I'm sure I'll be up bright and early in the morning getting some railroad ties around and getting it outside. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow it'll be loaded on my trailer. So thanks again for watching.